I think as women, it's like, just keep going, just one more time, one more try, one more try. And like, you're just so on a mission to get it done. And then if you don't get it done, it's like, okay, I'll do one more. I was diagnosed with PCOS, so polycystic ovarian syndrome. And the doctor, who I love my doctor, but she was like, you'll just do an IUI, do an IV, like maybe IVF, but most likely an IUI and you'll get pregnant, no problem. So it's like, okay. But that obviously required a lot of work, a lot of doctor's appointments. And I remember sitting in the waiting, or not the waiting room, but the prep room. And I was sitting there with another woman, and it's like this very sterile, tiny waiting room. We're in our like OR gear. And she just kind of looked at me and she's like, "Is this your first time?" And I said, "Yes." "Is it yours?" And she said, "No, it's my third time. It didn't work the past two times." It's just hard because what do you say? Because it was my first time. And in a weird way, I was like, I don't want to be the third time. If it doesn't work the one or two, like I'm calling it. But I also felt like I had to see it through. And I think when you're in it, you're just push, push, push to the next. And you don't really have time to take a breather because it really is like, okay, well, we did this blood work. So next week is this. And then you have to, you wait for the call and you're in a meeting and you're like, hold on, oh, they're calling me. They're telling me what to do and trying to get back to I just remember being on Zoom calls with work and my phone's going off, calling me with my instructions and I do remember there were moments where I was like, what if I told them I couldn't do it or I didn't want to do it? Because it's so defeating and it's so hard. And I just was like, do I want this still? There were because you kind of hit a wall with so many doctor's appointments and so much work. And I'm like, do I really want it that badly? And even my husband was like, well, shouldn't you just keep going? I don't know. Ask the doctor of the implications. And in my mind, I'm doing the math. I'm like, well, one more month. I turned 39 in September. And I was like, if I don't get pregnant now, and then for the second kid, I'm going to be in my mid 40s. And, so I kind of started to go a little crazy with that. So I called the doctor and I said, look, how important is it that I stay on this track? And I couldn't even get my sentence out. I just started crying and I was like, I can't do this again, but I know I like have to. He's like, you don't have to do anything. He's like, if you don't want to do this, you don't have to. If you do want to do this, we can push it back a week. I remember he said, you're a human doing superhuman things that no humans should really have to do. And he was very reassuring. He's like, the timeline doesn't matter. I've helped women in their 40s get pregnant too. Like don't worry about that. So you're kind of forced to keep going. It's hard to kind of get off the roller coaster.